the Zay Initiative, an ode to the past, a nod to the future, a collection of Arab dress and adornment, celebrating human narrative.
Welcome, welcome everyone from around the globe. I am so excited to be here tonight. I think it's just going to be the most beautiful webinar. I've been very lucky and seen some of the work that Dr. Reem will explain later, and I just cannot wait. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Emma Farmer, COO of the Zay Initiative, and lucky enough to be helping build this wonderful community. Some housekeeping. We really encourage you to use the chat function. It's wonderful to know where everyone is from. We've already got people from living in Toronto, Canada, and the Baltimore area of the US, me over here in Dubai, Dr. Reem's in London, and many, many, many other people from around the globe. So welcome to you all. Please, though, do make sure you select audience and panelists. Sorry, not just audience and panelists, select everyone when you type your message so that everyone can see it, not just me. As many of you know, all of the sessions will be recorded and we'll send it out within 24 hours of today's event. If you'd like permanent access to the recording, please don't forget to join our growing group of Friends of the Zay. That also gives you access to the behind the scenes chats, which really are absolutely incredible. They are fascinating 30 minutes directly following each webinar. And if you do want to join tonight, please email Catherine, events@thezay.org. I'm sure she'll be popping her email address onto the chat for everyone to see very shortly. As ever, directly within this session, there'll be a Q&A. Please do use the Q&A function, and I'll do my very best to get through all your questions before the end of the hour. Anyway, that's quite enough from me. Allow me to introduce you to Dr. Reem El Mutwalli. Dr. Reem.
Thank you, Emma, and welcome to all of you from all around the world, and welcome to our world, a world in which we routinely converse with voices from the past and hope to address readers from the future. As we all explore the story of dress and how to make sense of this combination of old and new. For the benefit of those who are joining us for the first time, we always like to start by explaining that our name emanates from the Arabic term Zay. Zay literally means the costume and general attire of certain country or era. And why Arabic? Because Zay is concerned with the legacy of the Arab world. The Zay Initiative is founded to help promote an understanding of the evolution of regional culture across the Arab world through dress, to build public awareness and appreciation of this unique heritage, and to create a platform for like-minded individuals and institutions, nationally, regionally, and globally. Simply put, as we always say, or as you always hear me say, we at the Zay Initiative collect the tangible to narrate the intangible. We collect artifacts to help record the stories of those who used or wore them. We are a UK-based or registered nonprofit that specially focuses on empowering women regionally and globally by bringing their untold stories to life. The initiative owns over 1,500 pieces of dress and adornment from across the Arab world. They are on our website one by one, and we have 200 so far examples that can be viewed through our collection. And we are working towards putting up all the other remaining articles as we go along every month. Some of you might wonder what we mean when we mention the Arab world. An Arab is a cultural trait rather than a racial one. Not all Arabs are Muslims, nor all Muslims are Arabs. The Arab world is full of rich and diverse communities, including Muslims, Christians, Jews, Yazidis, Kurds, Armenians, Amazigh, Berber, and so many other minorities. Differences do exist not only among the countries, but within these countries as well. And there are over 200 million Arabs worldwide. Generally, anyone who adopts the Arabic language is typically called an Arab. Now, today, our guest is very dear to me on a personal level. She's joining us from Bahrain. Our families have been lifetime friends. Her father, Mohammed Ghani Hekmat, Iraq's renowned sculptor, was a personal mentor of mine and a very close friend. I had the privilege of working with him and share many fond memories. I touch the last door he carved every day as I go in and out of my own home. A story that I might tell you when we have time at the end of this session. Hajer, welcome to our talk today. And perhaps now is a good time for you to tell us a bit about yourself. You were born in Iraq.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Reem and all the team for giving me the opportunity to be with you tonight. Thank you so much. Yes, I was born in Baghdad, actually, and I lived there almost for 28 years, and then I moved to Bahrain. I always, home is Baghdad for me, even after more than 20 years in Bahrain. So it's very, yeah.
Did you study in Iraq?
I studied in Iraq, and then I continued my study in France.
Okay, and we're going to go through a wonderful journey today, and we're going to talk about the history or an introduction to history, because we can't cover the history of Mesopotamia in one talk. People spend years studying that. But we are going to give a small synopsis of this beautiful history and relate when it is related to jewelry, especially. And we're going to look through that into how you became inspired and how you sustained this history through your work. And that's what got us interested in developing this talk with you. So without delay, we start with the first slide, and I'll give you the floor to begin situating us within the map that we are showing.
Well, Mesopotamia is the cradle of civilization. Everything started from this piece of land, the land between two rivers. Mesopotamia means the land between two rivers. And all my life I have been, close to history of Iraq, because my mother's an archaeologist and my father, as you know, is a sculptor, and most of his work was inspired by our history and our heritage. So for me, that's to be part of this is quite natural. After a while, I started my work, but first of all, the inspiration was from my parents, definitely.
And what did you study, by the way, Hajer?
I studied English literature.
Okay,
so you do what I'm doing now.
To what you are in now. Yes, interesting. So what inspired you? I know this map has something to do with it.
Yeah, what inspired me in 1988, one of my mother's colleagues, his name is Dr. Mzaham, he discovered a big treasure in Nimrud in the north of Iraq. And that time it was it is one of the biggest discoveries of a treasure in the world. They discovered more than 650 pieces of gold in different sizes. And so they took it to the museum. And my mother took me to the museum to the sneak and peek, because it wasn't allowed to show to public. And I went there and I was totally amazed and astonished, because there are amazing pieces of jewelry. And I went with her, and I still remember that day, I even remember the light and everything.
Do you know the date of that? Do you know the date?
No, I'm sorry. But I remember.
What year approximately?
88.
Okay.
Yes. And amazing that after that, it stayed in my mind after all these years. So after a while, I decided to start my own jewelry line. First of all, I'm sorry, no, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
So when you got inspired by what you saw in that museum,
Yes,
did it
I got.
propel you into this line?
Yeah, let me talk about the discovery of the treasure, if that's okay with you. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay. There are two treasures that were discovered in Mesopotamia. The first treasure was discovered in 1920 by Leonard Woolley. It was discovered in Ur in the south of Iraq. And it was it's less jewelry than what was discovered in Namrud, definitely. Those pieces of jewelry, they were very refined, very beautiful. And can we change the slide, please, if you don't mind?
There we go.
Okay, thank you. Those pieces that were discovered, they were for Queen Boabi. And if you look at the details of the crown and the pieces of stone that are used, they are so amazing. And the Queen Boabi was covered from head to toe by all those pieces of jewelry. And it's very, variated. You see the crowns, you see the head pieces, the necklaces, the earrings, amazing. Those pieces were discovered in Ur, in the south of Iraq, almost 2,500 years ago. So, sorry, BC, that is 5,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
this was the first discovery that took place of the jewelry.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
later on, another group discovered the one in northern Iraq.
Yes.
And
Yes.
these are the two pivotal points of discoveries that have affected or introduced you to this world in a way of jewelry.
Yes, I haven't seen this when I was young, but the Namrud treasure, I saw it in person. This one, I saw it later on.
And as you said, there were many stones and many symbols that were very prominent in these discoveries. And I think you're going to talk to us about some of it now.
Yes, mainly, of course, the treasure was made of gold and pure gold. Some of them were mixed with silver, but mostly were made of pure gold. The stones that are used are usually lapis lazuli and agate and carnelian. And the lapis lazuli, they used to bring it from Afghanistan, and the agate and carnelian from Oman. That time they used to call it Meghan. So many symbols are used, and it's not only jewelry. That's the beautiful thing about these pieces. Everything for them has to have a message, a symbol. For example, the fish is a symbol of richness because they used to give to the gods offering in the temples. Fish was a common thing because the place in Ur was near the river, of course, in Iraq of Euphrates. And for example, this choker in the slide you can see, it's a choker made of 7 layers. That means the layers that the promise of Ishtar, the goddess of beauty, how to protect the people from natural catastrophes like floods and so on. So always the number 7 has a symbol. And also on the crown, you see the 7 flowers, and also you have to see 3 flowers in the beginning and then 7 at the back. Of course, number 3 is like that, as you see in the slide, it's like the Holy Trinity. It still always has a symbol, number 3. And also the other crown has 7 flowers because number 7 was a very holy number.
Yes, it is fascinating that these traditions continue to today. We continue to use these numbers in
Yes.
our social and symbolic forms. And also it is very interesting that the connection between Afghanistan and the southern part of the Jazira al-Arabiya, the Arabian Peninsula, continued until today. and with the same materials. The same materials are important today as they were then, thousands of years ago. And I think that is really fascinating, and we don't think about it all the time.
Yes. Oh, this photo I have taken myself. For example, there is a very small golden amulet of a dog. Because I'm a dog lover and I have 2 dogs. Because they used to believe that the god of healing, Gula, used to go to sick people, and he's always accompanied by a dog. So for rich people, they used to wear the amulet of a small dog to protect them when they are sick. So it's like, so for them, jewelry was not only something to make them more beautiful, it has also a healing meanings for them. Also, the stones has a healing meaning for them. For example, lapis lazuli for them is holy because it it has the color blue that connect them to the sky, to the god Anu, the god of sky. And it has also a golden shade in lapis lazuli. That's why it was very holy for them. And you remember the murals in Iraq and Babylon, for example, all covered with tiles in the same color of the lapis lazuli, the blue color, the dark blue.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah, and there is also an affinity to the light blue as well, because most of these tiles have, and especially the amulet of the 7 eyes, it's always, which is a very typical of the area. It is used, it's a ceramic piece that has 7 holes in it. Again, repetition of the 7 number and the use of the blue color.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We still do use the same symbols from more than 5,000 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. And many of us don't understand the connection.
Yes, that's true. In this slide, this is a pair of earrings that the Queen Buabi used to wear. And the beautiful thing about those jewelry, there are very different techniques. For example, the earring on the top is hollow, so it's not too heavy. And this one, the second one here down, it's a necklace, a choker. It's very heavy. The casting is different. They used to have wax casting. I mean, they were really advanced if you think of it. I mean, we imagine that we are now advanced, but maybe we don't know how did they make all these pieces. It's amazing.
And when you see them in reality, I had the privilege of seeing this treasure when I visited once Baghdad, and I was surprised, first of all, that the technique was so advanced.
Yes.
The delicacy, some pieces are so delicate, as you said, like the hollow one here, and some of them, they had pomegranates and they had all kinds of different elements, and they are so fascinating, and others are very heavy, and the gold was very shiny and bright, despite all these years that had passed on it. So it's fascinating how they had so much knowledge about this. I wonder, did they find any tools with the treasure?
No, they did not, because actually those golden treasures were found in cemeteries, in the graveyards. So the queens are buried wearing their gold jewelry. Yeah. But no, they didn't find, as far as I know. Yes, those vessels were buried with the queen so that she can use them in her journey after life. And one of them is actually, they find out that it's mixed with silver, so it's gold and silver. I think because of technique-wise to be more solid, because it's going to be used. Yes. And the other one to the right on top is made with the shape of the ostrich egg. Mm-hmm. And with covered with lapis lazuli and also shell, and you can see it's like a mosaic. It's amazing how they made it.
The details are fascinating, and again we have lapis lazuli in those buckles in the bottom piece, and the beautiful engravings that take place. Fascinating, really. And then this one is a very important element as well.
Yeah. Yes, the handle is made of lapis, and it's pure gold. The whole dagger and the cover of it, and the details in the cover of the dagger. It's really something.
I mean, the detail is so fine that you would think it's a piece of leather rather than a piece of metal that has been, applied, and it's amazing. Which takes us to this map, because you wanted to explain how that the second, there is a difference between the two treasures that were found.
Yes.
One, you said to me, showed a very close vicinity, a small area of influence, a small area of production, while the other one showed a much larger area of trade and connection and influences. Maybe you can take us through that?
Yes, the first treasure that have been discovered in Ur, it has more personality, of Iraqi personality. I mean, but it's limited, because even with the connection that they had, it wasn't as much as the second treasure that was found in Nemrud in the north of Iraq, because the second treasure in the north was during the Assyrian Empire, and the Assyrian Empire is really took big air. I mean, they were colonized a big, large area from Egypt to I think to almost to India. So this that makes them more rich and more open to more cultures.
So the variety was a lot, much more, because of the influences and the cultures that they came across and in contact with.
True, and also because of they were very rich. So because of they colonized this big part of the world, so they have a lot of people that used to come to Assyria, to Nemrud, and work there, to exchange, to learn there, and because it's the biggest capital of that time of the area. So they used to come there, and maybe they used to work there and give all their crafts and to the kings and the queens that time in this place.
And again, it's another tradition that continues to date, whereby wherever you have a metropolis, wherever you have money, wherever you have influence, craftsmen and craftspeople tend to gravitate to that area, because they have patrons that can afford to commission them to make that kind of work and to excel in the field that they are working in.
Yes. And the treasure was disappeared. I mean, nobody could find it that time. It wasn't actually shown to public. And after 2003, the Americans were looking for the treasure, and they looked everywhere, all Saddam palaces, in the museum, they couldn't find it. But finally, they found the treasure in the safe of the central bank in Baghdad. After they broke the safe, they found big wooden boxes. And when they opened it, they found the treasure was kept there. And I have this this photo that shows exactly that time when they found it.
So it was discovered safe and sound, thank goodness. It didn't disappear like many of the artifacts that are gone by now. This is a wonderful piece, and I would love for you to explain it, because I don't think many people will be able to guess what it is. It's very hard to decipher. One never thinks that this is this kind of an object. So I'll let you tell the story.
Yeah, this is a headband worn by the queen. It's like the agal that we use now. Now it's more for men than the women. And it's amazing. It's like woven threads of gold, and it's flexible and soft, so it wouldn't hurt the head when one is wearing it. And I remember it very well. I couldn't touch it at that time, but I remember this piece very well. And it's decorated by this stone. It's agate, and it looks like the evil eye, you know, to that still we are using this symbol that women wear the evil eye to take away from her, all the envy that.
Yes.
So the lady is where this piece is used to put in here, and then it has a dangling piece at the back. It's beautiful.
It's fascinating to be able to see this, because again, the weave structure, it very much resembles the weave format of a male egal that is used today. And it shows you how these elements carry on through our culture. And as you said, the evil eye, to protect oneself from the evil eye, you would wear it. And it's fascinating that it's in the back of your head. So whoever is going to look at you as you pass and cast a spell, you are protected in a way, which is interesting.
Okay, these are two bangles. The one to the left it's beautiful. This one, it's an arm bangle, the one to the left. They used to wear it on the top of their arms.
Yes.
And it's decorated with two lions, because of course lion is a symbol of strength. And if you remember in the murals, in the Assyrian murals, there are so many symbols of lions, and the kings is, you know, killing them or holding the head of a lion. So this one, to wear it on your armpit, that means you are strong. It gives this feeling.
Oh.
Yeah, and the one to the right also, it has a lion, but this one is wearing on the wrist. And there are many also reliefs with all the, it was also worn by male. If you remember in the relief, the kings are always wearing on their wrist. Also,
this was an interesting point, and I don't know if you can elaborate more, but I think jewelry was worn not only by the women, but it was also worn by the men.
Yes.
And maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. I mean, I know they wore earrings, they wore necklaces, they wore arm.
Exactly like women. You know, later on, I think because of religion reasons, men do not wear gold anymore or jewelry anymore. But that time, it means that you are powerful, you're rich, you're capable. So they actually used to wear like women, exactly like women. And also on the, as you said, earrings on the wrist, arm bangles, also anklets.
Yes, and I thought what was fascinating here is the bangle, where the arm bangle, where you have the lion with the blue eyes. Again, the blue significance, the significance of the blue is again to protect oneself from the evil eye. But the shape and the design, I wonder if it was carried out to the east, because you would, if you look at it now, you would think it is a Chinese. Of a Chinese background or an influence, but this came before that period.
Definitely.
So it's very interesting how it influenced most probably the East as well.
Yeah, because if you remember the murals in the Louvre or the British Museum, the Assyrian, you see the theme of this treasure definitely is a Mesopotamian theme. From we'll talk about also the flower, the rosette later. Yes. But the head of a lion, it's significant. I mean, I have no doubt that this is totally from Mesopotamia. Maybe the craftsmen are come from somewhere else, but or I believe also they were also craftsmen from the area too.
Yes, I think craftsmen will carry influences. As you said, it's spread all over the area. So they will be influenced by the cultures that they meet and subjugate, and also they will send their influences back to them. So it's a continuous back and forth journey, I think, when it comes to that. And this is a debate that we always have even till today. You know, when you look at things, is this Moroccan or is this Tunisian or is this Egyptian or is this, you know, Iraqi and so on. So we continue this conversation as time goes by. But again, you see these influences interacting among cultures.
Yes, here also you have the bangles. The one to the right on top is actually solid gold. It's very, very heavy, but because I read about it, it's totally solid gold. The one down, to the right also, it has an evil eye in the middle. And it's, I mean, if you look at it and you can compare it to what you see on the murals, it's exactly, you have the kings and the queens wearing them on their wrist with the evil eye in the middle and also to the sides. And it's decorated with the small stones from, you can see the,
Filigree work.
yes, yeah, beautiful.
Yes. And is that inlaid with stones, or as you said, or is it inlaid with Nina, اللي هو
no, stones.
They are
enamel,
stones.
not enamel, no.
Not enamel, no?
No, stones.
Yeah. It's funny because this, the one in the bottom corner, it resembles very much a large ring that is worn in the Gulf region and all the way down to Oman and Yemen, and it's called ftah in the colloquial language. Really? It's usually worn on the largest toe of the feet. And it looks exactly the same. It's interesting that we still continue these symbols until today. And this is another example. Maybe you can care to explain it to us.
Yes, the one to the left, it's also it's an arm bangle. It has a snake on it. I mean, of course, the snake symbolism is very, very important in Mesopotamia, and also it carries on till now, and in many other civilizations. And we still are wearing this type of bangle on the armpits, till now, till these days, with the same design. Yeah. And the one to the top, on the top is a ring. This ring also has a photo of the, it's encarved with the king sitting on his chair, and on his back you see a scorpion, and down you see also a lion. Mm-hmm. And it's encarved so upside down, so it's like a stamp for them. So they wear it and they stamp on a piece of a clay to it's like their signature. Yes. So yeah. And
it's a seal. What you're trying to say is it is a seal. So it is engraved in a negative format, so that when they press it, it can create the protruded image onto the item that they are pressing it on. But again, you see the symbolism of the power through having the lion sitting below the king's seat. Yeah. But what is the significance of the scorpion? Do you know?
I have no idea. I have to say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And then the one down in the corner, it's a small image or a partial image of
it's a crown. It's a headband. It's a head crown. It's a crown, and it's all have the small flowers, the chamomile flowers, and there's on top of it, it's like an angel with wings that protects the head of the person who's wearing it.
And it is interesting, that issue of chamomile flower. You were explaining to me that this was it has a great significance.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
See this one to the left, it's a beautiful crown. It's 6 centimeters in the width and 18 centimeters.
So it's a band that is worn on the head?
Yes, wow. It's a band. Yeah, it's beautiful and full of chamomile flower, because the chamomile flower in spring especially, it covers all in the north of Iraq, and of course Assyria was in the north of Iraq, and it has a very strong symbol. I think they used to wear it for use it for healing, and if you remember in the murals, they have it all over the murals in Babylon, also not only in the north of Iraq, and they have it also in tiles with exactly the same colors, yellow and white, of the chamomile flower, and they use
It's fascinating to see it in the corner. The corner image is an enlarged format of this flower, right? Yeah. And it's the bottom of a bowl.
Yes, it's a bottom of a bowl that used to was also found in the grave of one of the queens that time, so that she would use it later in her journey to the other world.
What is interesting is that it is almost exactly the same as the one people use as a tasa. They call it also tasa, which means bowl in Arabic. And it is placed, I'm sure you've seen it in the Gulf, all around across the Arabian Peninsula. They put it on the head, on the top of the head. And it always has this design, but I never thought it came and originated from this. So I think it's fascinating that we continue until today, the same sort of design.
Definitely.
Again and again and again. It's really amazing.
Yeah, also these, if you see these jewelries now in the souk, if you go even in Baghdad or in Dubai, or it's amazing. It's as if they are brand new. The design of
made today.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Baghdad like 2-3 years ago, and I went and I bought one of the pair of earrings for my daughter because I wanted her to wear something traditional. It's exactly the same design till now. Also with the turquoise stones that we still use it in the area, in the region.
Very true. Even the bangles that you see in the corner, you have so many in silver. That are used until today, and again you see it all the way down to Yemen as well. So true.
But don't forget because those pieces that we found now in the can we go back, if you don't mind, to the other side?
Go ahead.
Those pieces that we found, they are for queens and princesses. That's why they are made of pure gold. But as you said, I'm sure the commoners cannot afford, so they would made it from silver. So and because gold is a very strong metal that it's kept safe till now, we can see it, and we can see the details of it. And sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there is a story about the big earring to the left. I would like to say it to everyone to listen to it. This earring was missing from after they found the treasure. This earring was missing, and one of my mother colleagues, Dr. Lamia Al-Gailani, she by accident found out that it was being sold in one of the biggest auction houses in UK. So she contacted them and she told them this is a stolen piece from the Iraqi museum. And after that, they gave it back to the Baghdadi museum, which is very important. Alhamdulillah, it's back.
Yes, Khala Lamia has a long history in this field, and she's very knowledgeable in this area. And I know that even last week there is a whole colossal amount of treasures that are being returned. I know Kuwait is returning many of these stolen artifacts, and US also returned a number of those as well. This is a fascinating piece. It's beautiful, and it sums up all the different symbols that we associate with Iraq. Maybe you can run us through them.
It's so beautiful. Actually, there are two pieces. The other one, I don't have a photo of it and it's broken, but this one is totally, till now, it's like, if you look at it, my God, it's just like brand new. This is, here you can see that it's from lapis lazuli, the stone, and you see the palm tree with the dates hanging, and it's framed, and it's a big necklace to be worn on the chest, and the dangling chains with pomegranate from them. It's beautiful dang, and the pomegranate, it has a symbol of fertility. So this piece really talks about the beauty and richness of Iraq. You have the fertility, you have the palm trees, you have the dates, you have the blue sky behind. It's amazing.
And the superior quality of craftsmanship. I mean, the delicacy of this, you know, we have to remember this is 5,000 years ago. How did they manage to do this with the tools that they have?
I'm sure they were really advanced, and we just underestimating them.
Well, it takes us to your work, which is fascinating to me, because I love the way, as I said at the beginning, you are managing to sustain this legacy. And the Zay Initiative is all about sustaining legacy. And to us, to see somebody that's actually doing that was an amazing discovery. And that's why we were eager to talk to you. And maybe you can tell us a little bit of background as to what is the concept behind this design that you have created.
In the beginning, in 2014, I started my jewelry line. At the start, I was influenced by my father's statues and sculptures. So I took most of his work, I mean, the pieces that I made, and I look at them and I imagine them like a necklace or an earring. So that was my first inspiration, that I take my father's sketches and turn them into jewelry. And later on, I wanted to move on to do something that combines both my love for our history, Iraqi history, and my identity as an Iraqi and a daughter of Mohammed Ghani. So I thought, let me do something that have both my passion in it. So I did use a cuneiform because I wanted to tell everybody that this land that we are talking about, Mesopotamia, whatever we see now, the damage that we see now, this is all that we have, but that's not the truth. I mean, our country invented the first alphabet in the world. So I wanted people to see that. So I did put a cuneiform letters with this, I mean, words that can be legible, you can read them. And used, if you see now, I used also lapis lazuli, and I used agate, the same stones that were used thousands of years ago. So I wanted people to look at this jewelry as also not only beauty, it has a message to show identity, to show that for me, show that I belong to this great civilization.
And just a point for our viewers, we are talking about the cuneiform, which is the first form of writing. And
yes.
It was writing on tablets, mainly clay tablets. And you have to always remember, when we speak about the Mesopotamian culture or civilization, it covered a whole vast area, as we showed. And it covered areas that today are Iraq, Syria, part of the Levant, and so on and so forth. So when we speak about, because again, until today, we have debates going on. No, it is Iraqi. No, it is Syrian. No, it is so and so. But in reality, it is Mesopotamian, because they came before us, and they were the cradle of civilization who created and invented this ahead of us. We are just the custodians and the descendants of these great civilizations. I wanted to just clarify this for those who are listening to us for the first time.
Because that time there were no borders, there were no passports. I mean, people, they can easily change their place, and there used to be a big trading between all this area.
Yes.
So that's why they take their knowledge with them.
So do these particular necklaces that we're looking at, or pendants that we are looking at, do they have a meaning? Do they say anything?
Yes, the one to the right, it says fly, and I luckily found this shape of like a dove or a bird, and it's a cultured pearl, so I used this one. And the one in the middle, it says dawn. Like because I wanted to say, like, it's like Fajr al-Hadarat, the dawn of civilization.
Yes.
And the one to the left is something personal for someone.
Okay. And then we take it further. You took it further and you implemented it on money clips.
Yeah. It was also. Yeah, it's also a personal order. A friend wanted to give something to her. I think it was her father. So I made this, and it says Ustad, like a professor in the middle. And the one to the left, sorry, the one to the left says Noor. Sorry?
Noor. Oh, how lovely.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And the earring to the right, it's not a Mesopotamian cuneiform writing, no. It's just like I took the old design and I modified it into something new. And also I kept using the color blue with the same shape, but it's a modern design, totally inspired by the old one.
This is what I like, the simplicity and the inspiration. It's not a cut and paste. You are not copying. And this
No,
is one of the things, again, through Zay Initiative, is what we try to do is to present the traditional by documenting it so that people like you, creative people like you, can understand it and learn from it and create their own versions of it by adapting it to what they are trying to do. And I see that's beautifully done in here. And those are I love those. These are beautiful, Hajer. Tell us more about
them. These are totally inspired by the cylinder seals. The cylinder seals used to be made from stones, hard stones, and they were carved upside down. So as you said before, they would roll it on a piece of clay it's like their signature. If they have a contract or they have anything, so they used to roll it. So I was inspired and I thought, let me do something totally beautiful and feminine, but give the same message. So I did design words in a cuneiform in gold, and I placed it on top of the stone. The one to the left, you have turquoise and agate in the middle. And also this ring, I'm wearing it right now. It says Iraq.
Bring it closer to the camera, like that, so they could see it.
Yes.
Yes.
It says Iraq, written Iraq, and it also rolls. So it has the same idea of the, that's what it was used thousands of years ago. And I used the color black. It's like the onyx, because I can't use basalt. Of course, it's very hard stone. I cannot find it, but it's the same idea. The black and the agate and the turquoise that's used thousands of years ago. I'm using it again.
And Hajer, do you make them yourself, or do you have craftsmen that are working with you? Are you producing them in Bahrain or in Iraq, or where?
I produce most of my pieces in Lebanon or in here in Bahrain. And I took also courses to make jewelry, but I find it very hard and time consuming, to be honest. So I sketch and I design, and and thanks God, I was lucky that I found people that would understand me. It wasn't an easy journey, to be honest. I chose so many craftsmen, but finally, alhamdulillah, I found someone who understood what I have in my mind, and he's an artist too. So we are working together, and he's helping me.
This is gorgeous. I love these pieces. They are so delicate. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about them.
Yes, these from rotulated quartz, the stone that I am using. The one to the left is also the shape of triangle, and it says, I totally forgot. Let me remember. Okay, so it's rotulated quartz, these stones, and they were shown they were actually in the British Museum. They took them when they have the Ashurbanipal in 2019. They did the big exhibition about Ashurbanipal, about Assyria. So they took my work and they exhibited there in the British Museum.
Beautiful. And again, do they say anything? The cuneiforms, are they saying anything?
Yes. They also say dawn, and I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay, but they are amazing.
Thank you.
And again, more implementation of this and try. How has it been received? Are people interested in this type of work? Who are your clients? Let's put it this way. Mainly Iraqis or international? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's a bit hard because people would like to just have what is known. Like the traditional, either a flower or a heart or the evil eye. I don't, or the hand of Fatima. I for me, as I said before, there's a message in my work, and finally, at the last time I've been to Baghdad, I joined an exhibition there. Alhamdulillah, people there in Baghdad especially, they understand my work and they really like it. And mainly Iraqis are my clients, and other people from all over the world, but mainly Iraqis, yes. Maybe because they relate to it, you know?
Definitely. It's nostalgic. It brings you back home.
Yes. And because of the political situation, people are more into to embrace their identity, you know? So this is very, and I'm very happy about that. So this is a cufflink for, it says power on the cufflink, and this is a necklace also for men. It's malachite with the.
It's interesting that you are working on jewelry for men today, because that is also another sustainable factor, which is very encouraging. And I'm happy we touched on it, because I didn't want us to focus just on female jewelry and women's issues. But I think through dress and adornment, you can also capture the male aspect of the culture and traditions related to that. These are interesting.
Yeah, these, because after the cuneiform, I wanted to do something also relate me to our civilization. These are symbols of gods and goddesses in Mesopotamia. And I searched so much, and I have the friends that helped me. The artist Ali Al-Tajer helped me, and also another friend, he's an archaeologist, Dr. Salam Taha, also helped me. These pieces are, because through history, the god's symbol changes as the cuneiform changes, of course. But I looked for something, the best shape to resemble those gods. I mean, the one to the right is the god Enki, the god of water, and the one to the middle is Eshnona, the goddess of fertility, and the one to the left is Inanna, Ishtar, the goddess of beauty and war, to both of them together. So I wanted people to, when to wear them, it has a link between you and the way that people see. It has nothing to do with religion, but it's we have to understand that people, there were many gods that time, and accept them and enjoy the beauty of them.
Yes, they are, and such a simple result, or such a simple pendant. It shows you how much thought and energy and study and research has gone into them by going back and looking into that culture and understanding it and implementing it in such a simple format. This is my favorite. We are at the final slide of our talk today, but I love this, and I would like for you to tell our viewers what is it that we're looking at.
Yeah, I was looking for symbols again from Mesopotamia. I was searching for honestly also tattoo symbols, and I wanted to go very deep, you know. And then I found this symbol. A friend of mine, we were discussing. He's an archaeologist, and we were discussing. And I told him, look at this. He said, this is the heart symbol. I'm sorry, you have to say it in English. البطين الأيمن and البطين الأيسر, and the middle.
The left and right ventricles of the heart.
Yes, and it's so beautiful and very simple. And if you look at it, if you do like that, you know, in your hands, it's exactly like the heart shape. So I made those to make it closer to the mind of the person who's going to own it. It's a heart, and the heart symbol is inside of it, and I put a small diamond in the middle to give it shine.
It is fascinating to see a symbol that comes back from history juxtaposed on a symbol that we recognize in our generation and other generations of today, and putting them together into one overall design. I think it's really captivating. I really commend you for the work that you're doing, and I love the work that you are presenting and the thought behind it. I'm very glad that you agreed to come and talk to us about it and to introduce our followers and our audiences to this culture, even though it's a simple glimpse. I mean, we only skimmed the surface. There's so much to say, and I'm sure we will have many other talks about the subject, but I thought it was a beautiful introduction that can link past and present together. And I see Emma coming in here. I'm sure there are lots of questions. Thank you so much, Hajer.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Just fascinating. You've taken us to sort of a different era and a different world, and your own work is just so beautiful. So the first question that's come through is, where can we buy your work, Hajer? How do we go about contacting you to buy your jewelry?
There is a website in my name, also Hajer Ghani, and also there's an Instagram if people would like to see other designs.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Because I show only the designs that link us to Mesopotamia. The other designs are mostly linked to Mohammed Ghani.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Maybe Catherine, you could just pop the Instagram and the website onto the chat. That'd be fantastic. And the old piece that you showed was just stunning. I just love that lapis lazuli and that stunning blue. Where in the world, or is it possible to go and see a sort of large collection? Are there any museums or where you can go and see, or any books that the audience can read up on them? Or
yeah, it's actually all over the world, but mainly those treasures are in Iraq, in Baghdad, mainly.
But they are not on display at the moment, are they? Or do you
no, they are not displayed because of the situation. The country itself has never been in peace. So yes. There are people who works in the museum are really totally scared to show them because there's not enough security. You know that.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, just absolutely fascinating. And I think, are there any books on the subject, Hajer, that we could refer people to?
Of course, there are many books.
There are libraries,
and also they can see online, and there are many books in the libraries. I mean, but they have to go to, you cannot find them easily. They're not novels. You have to go to certain places, certain book stores that you can find them in the universities.
And what language are they predominantly written in?
Sorry, both Arabic and English.
Both Arabic and English. Wonderful.
There's a whole body of work in German as well, because the Germans worked a lot on the archaeology in Iraq.
Yes,
so there's a whole lot of body on that one. But in general, when you're talking about books, we're talking about books on the, Assyrian and the Babylonian and all those civilizations, rather than on just the jewelry of itself.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
There are, I hope in the future there will be specialized in jewelry. Maybe I can do that one day.
I was going to say, Hajer, this is your challenge. Could you please write a book for us to have a full understanding of everything? Catherine's just put your website into the chat for everyone to have a look at, and we'll also make sure it is included on our email that we send around tomorrow with the recording. But really, that was just absolutely fascinating. I thank you so much for giving us that initial introduction.
Thank you, and I'm sorry, I was a bit panicking at the beginning. I apologize.
It was absolutely beautiful.
You did a
wonderful job. Fascinating insight. Now, Kat's just reminded me that behind the scenes is starting in just a couple of minutes. So sadly, I'm going to have to cut off the Q&A there. I've just got a couple of things to add, and then Dr. Reem, I'm sure you'll want to jump in.
Yes.
Two things. Anyone who is in Dubai, there's just 50 days left of Expo 2020. Do go and have a look. There's some fascinating displays of telly around the site, so you can see the Emirati ladies doing their traditional crafts. Also in the Women's Pavilion is the Draped in Heritage exhibition by the Zay Initiative. So wonderful if you can go up and see that, of course. Then also in more of the Emirates, we've just launched our new exhibition called Fanan. Dr. Reem, do you want to give a quick outline of Fanan for everyone?
Yes, we have an exhibition which will last for 2 months, at Mall of the Emirates, and it's an introduction to UAE culture through 10 wonderful women, 5 designers and 5 artists, and you will see outfits from the UAE that were created by these designers and by these artists, and you would be able to read more about them and learn more about them through a QR code that you can scan while you're looking at these objects and interacting with them. If you do visit, take photos and send us and share it with us and tag us so people will know and learn about your experience in that. As Emma said, Draped in Heritage continues. We are very lucky that the Women's Pavilion decided that they will host the exhibition throughout the whole of Expo. So we've got 6 months of it and we have 2 months left. So please go and have a look at that. And the third thing that I wanted us to highlight is our next webinar, which is a very fascinating one. And it carries on this issue of sustainability that we started with Hajer today and her jewelry. What we have is a young chef, an Arab chef, and he managed to work with certain elements, natural elements, such as the eggplant skin, as well as the skins of fruits and vegetables, to create objects such as the mask that you see. So he's creating textiles and objects out of sustainable ones and out of edible material that into fashion. So we're crossing between dress and food, and just to show that when we speak about fashion, when we speak about clothes, we really do touch so many different elements in our life, in our everyday life. And I think this would be a fascinating talk to listen to and to see how he's exploring this more futuristic aspect that I think people will really enjoy. So I look forward to hosting Omar and for welcoming you all to listen to our next talk.
Yeah, and that is on the 22nd of February. Anyway, thank you all so much. Thank you, Hajer. Thanks to our wonderful global audience. See many of you on behind the scenes in a second on the other Zoom link. Dr. Reem, that's enough from me. Any final words from you?
Well, thank you, Hajer, so much for coming today.
Thank you, Reem. Can I just talk to you in person?
Oh, yes, of course. We'll connect in a minute.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
everyone.